right, welcome back to this new edition. As you can see, I'm in nature, and randomly, I'm like, oh, I feel inspired. I feel excited. I feel empowered. So let me take the learnings I did this week and just share them with you. And I have them here. It's literally me sitting in nature. I have my paper with me. I'm pondering on what I've just learned, and I'm like, okay, let me just press the record button and let me share this with my audience. Hopefully they find as much value as I did, right? So it's going to be me walking you through a bunch of lessons I learned this week, and hopefully they can help you change your life as they're gradually helping me to change mine. Yeah. So there is a question. You know that life, it's not as much as about answers we provide as much as it is the question we ask. So I'm kind of growing into evolving as a person who asks more questions than finding answers. And there is a question I came across and it challenged my thinking for good. So the question goes like, 10 years from now, what would you wish you started doing today? Right? This is a powerful question. I mean, for instance, 10 years from now, looking at where the economy is going, if you're not creating content, you would wish you created content, because the creators economy is becoming huge, larger, and we live in a time where people are buying because they like, trust, and know you, not just because the product is good. So I believe people who have an audience will have a much more bigger lever to pull than people who don't have an audience. And this is a kind of question that will trigger you to think, even if you don't like creating content, it's like, oh, then if I look in 2034, I would be pissed that I didn't start creating content. I would be pissed that I didn't start a business. I would be pissed that I didn't start the NGO. I would be pissed that I didn't pursue this degree. I would be pissed that I didn't create this network with this person. Yeah. And I mean, this is a question that helps you think in a long-term perspective, where it eases your decision making, where you are looking retrospectively, because one thing I've learned is that we live life forward, but it is understood backwards. Yeah, it is the ability to look back and say, oh, now it makes sense. I believe everyone have at some point said or made this statement that I wish I knew what I know now back then. Yeah, that is simply because we live life backwards, but we live it forward, but we understand it backwards. Yeah. And this is a kind of question that will help you understand how can I invert the possibility of me regretting. Because basically you're saying, I don't want to regret this. So instead of me regretting it, let me start it right away. Yeah. So it's a powerful question. Put it in your repertoire. Every time you are making decisions, think about this question. What 10 years from now, what would you wish you started doing today? And whatever you think you'll be regretting in 10 years, don't wish to regret it, start it right away. Yeah? That's the first lesson. Second is not a lesson, it's a statement, and I loved it. It says, the purpose of life is to find your gift. The work of life is to develop it, and the meaning of life is to serve it. What a beautiful statement. Every single person I've came across, every single person, including you watching this video, is literally looking into their purpose, into their work, into finding meaning in life. And just hearing this statement, it brought an ease to my mind, because it's like, what is my gift? How do I serve it? And that's it. Yeah. Dr. Miles Monroe said there are 5 powerful questions that every single human must and is ought to answer if they're going to maximize their lives. Yeah. And the first question is, who am I? And that is a question of identity. Every single person is looking to understand, who am I? Right? And this is a powerful question. It takes a lifetime to ask it and a lifetime to even answer it. And sometimes who am I is about the person they talk about at your funeral. Who was this person? Right? And maybe the best way to answer it is to imagine your eulogy. Someone reciting, who was this person we just lost? And you live that life backwards. You try to go back and build yourself as that person who will be recited as a eulogy, right? So it's like write your eulogy and live it. Such a controversial statement, but I just made it. So the first question was, who am I? The second question is, where am I from? That's your source. Where am I from? When you understand your source, you also understand, because whatever your source is, it gives you understanding on the resource that you can get. Yeah. So where am I from is a powerful question. And early on in life, I learned that I'm not from Africa. I was born from Africa, but I'm not from here. And I have a greater source. I have a creator. And whatever the creator intended me to be, that's what I should be. And just understanding the question, where am I from? It gives you unlimited access. And it also eliminates some of the obstacles, and it broadens the possibilities, because sometimes we're limited by where we are. Yeah. And just asking yourself, where am I from? It gives you power. Yeah. The third question is, why am I here? That's a question of purpose. Every single person, including you watching this video, you are asking yourself, why am I here? What's my purpose? Why was I conceived in this time? And life begins when you understand that your birth was not a mistake. You're not a random idea. There is a purpose for you to serve here. And in Jeremiah, God says, I know you. Yeah? Before you were conceived in your mother's womb, I knew you and I appointed you as a prophet. So you are not a mistake. You are not a random person here. Yeah? And I have a great purpose for you. I have a plan for you, a plan to prosper you and not to harm you, a plan to give you hope in the future. So that all speak to a sense of purpose. Why am I here? And the best way to understand why you are here is to look for what people need you for. Whatever that create demand for you in the world, that's why you're here. Imagine if let's say Michael Jackson never discovered why. We would have missed the music industry. Imagine if The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, never understood why he was here. Would miss out the movie. Imagine. So if we can use the same framework, imagine when you were not born, what could you have missed? And that is a powerful way to understand your why. And never put pressure on understanding your purpose, because we are evolving every single day. And you might go through things that you thought you want, for you to realize that it's not what you want until you get what you want, if that makes sense. So don't pressure yourself into discovering your purpose. Put yourself out there, be in service, and let the world let you know. And through service, you actually understand yourself better. Yeah? So why am I here? It's a powerful question. Then what can I do? It's a question of potential. What is my ability? What is my gift? What is my talent? Yeah? So your gold is in your gift. Your treasure is in your talent. And always look for that. Refine it and serve it to the world. And the last question is, where am I going? Which is a question of destiny, which is helping you literally to think long term. So 5 questions. Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What can I do? Where am I going? Powerful question. Answer them. The universe will be unlimited. Yeah? Third thing, you have probably understand many times that principles are universal. Principles and laws are universal. And that's why many people will teach you principles about life, about everything. And I've never understood until this time that principles are universal, but application of principles are personal, contextual, and geographical until today. I'll give you an example. So if we say the principle of gravity, it's a principle, yeah? It's universal. But the application of that principle, let's say if you jump on a story building, gravity cells, it will pull you down, you'll fall. And that's a universal law. But the application of that principle, it's personal. It's personal because I might be jumping on a 2-story building, you are jumping on a 10-story building, we're all jumping, but it's personal, yeah? Contextual is I might be committing suicide, you might be shooting a movie, there might be doing it there. So it's context dependent, yeah? And it's geographical. I might be jumping in Africa, you're jumping in the United States. Wherever you're jumping from, gravity doesn't care, it will pull you down, yeah? So even any other principle you'll find out in life, learn to ask yourself, how is this personal? What's the context? And what's the geographical parameter within which the principle is being applied? And this might be a game changer, yeah? Now, I also learned something new, which is probably a new way to create value or business. The best way to create a business is to find an old problem and get a new solution for it, or a new problem and find an old solution for it. This is where I believe people say there is nothing new under the sun, which might be correct, because you are either finding an old problem, it has always existed, you're just finding a new solution for it, yeah? Old problem, people want to socialize. New solution, let me develop a social app like Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So it's an old problem with a new solution, yeah? So new problem, this has never occurred before. It's cryptocurrencies, yeah? We've never had cryptocurrencies before. Old problem, let's store them in we've used to store in vaults where people have security stuff. So vault is going to be a blockchain, for instance. So old problem, new solution, new problem, old solution. It's a great framework to think about ideas, yeah? And just on that note, the best way to create a business is to actually use a principle which is called paving the cow paths. Paving the cow paths, architecture, understand it better. When you build a building and you have a garden, rather than assuming where people will pass, wait it for a month and see where people are likely to be passing and pave the way where they're already walking. And that it's a beautiful way to think about business rather than hypothesizing on what you think the market wants. Signal the market. You can use a wait list. You can use, rather than just say, for instance, you want to start a paid marathon. Rather than go and set up the whole thing, literally ask people, we are doing a marathon. We have a wait list. If you're interested, put your email in here. They will signal their interest. And that you can build a business upon signals, upon you have market that have validated that what you are working on, they need. Another example, my friend who is building an event organizing company, he just texted me that he wanted to develop a pitch for the investors and a business plan and everything, and wanted my help. So what I told him rather, I said, no one wants to invest in something that is not validated yet, right? So what you will do rather than pitching investors to invest, go out and look for contracts. Look for contracts, partner with companies that rent out venues, partner with event companies, and find the contracts and come to people, say, hey, I have this amount of contracts and the demand is through the roof, I cannot supply it. Would you be interested in investing so that we kick this forward? So it's a different conversation, yeah? And I believe it's a beautiful way to think about life. Something else I learned that changed my life for good this week is the framework of thinking, acting, then becoming. There is a beautiful analogy that if you take all the money in the world and you distribute it evenly amongst the people, a year from now, the richer will likely become richer again and the poor will likely become poor again. Because rich is a mindset. And I heard someone said something that blew my mind. He said, a millionaire is who you are, million is what you have. If I give you 10 million, you are not a millionaire, you are a person who have 10 millions. And the reason why this is important is because if you are a 1 million person and I give you 10 million, your brain will stop working until you get back to 1 million. You will waste money spending it on useless stuff until you get 1 million, then you wake up. What do I do with 1 million? Yeah, because fundamentally you have 10 million, but you're not a millionaire, because a millionaire is who you are, is the way you think. So The best way to become a millionaire is to start thinking like a millionaire. If I have 1 million, how can I get 10 million? And then act like the way a millionaire would work. The best framework I love is to think about how would this person deal with this situation. Yeah. And then eventually when you take actions like them, you will become like them. Something else I learned is that there are two powerful driving force of human behavior. One is habits, another is social coping. Habits is do what you have always done. Social coping is do what everyone else is doing. And if you can build a product around those two forces, you will be unlimited. Yeah. Products that get people to do what they have always done. Let's say toothpaste. It's a habit thing. Every day you're brushing your teeth. It's a game changer. That's why they have always to print money, because that's a habit-based product. Social coping, do what everyone else is doing. Hype, what everyone is doing. Everyone is on social media. Let me get on social media. Everyone is wearing Michael Jordan. Let me wear Michael Jordan. So habits, social coping, powerful. Yeah. Let me perhaps close on this idea of personal branding. No, one more thing. Yeah. Value. How do you create value in the market? You've heard it. People say you need to become a person of value. You need to create value in the market. You need value, blah, 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 blah. Boring. Yeah. Because you've never actually had a practical framework on how value is created and how can you become a person of value. So this is a framework that changed my understanding on value. If you want to become valuable, you need to do what other people don't do. You need to do what other people cannot do, and you need to do what other people will not do. Yeah? So what other people don't do is to look at what everyone else is doing and do a different thing. So that's an edge. That's a competitive advantage. That's a unique market. Yeah? To do what other people can do, it's about ability. What can I do that other people can't? Maybe it's the way you speak. Maybe it's the way you write. Maybe it's the way you talk. Maybe it's the way you move. Yeah? So that's your personal edge. Yeah. What other people won't do, it's willingness. They're not willing to do this as much. They're not willing to do it 10 years. They're not willing to put in more effort. They're not willing to put in more money. Yeah. So if you can figure out how to do something other people don't do, or what other people can do, or what other people won't do, you will become valuable. Yeah. Last thought, last thing I learned this week is about personal branding. Yeah. The idea of personal branding has become almost something people shy away from, because they think building a personal brand is about talking about you. It's about putting you on a spotlight, but it's a different approach. A personal brand is not about self-promotion. It's about idea promotion. Personal branding is about finding that topic that you find yourself relevant to, interested in, and shine the spotlight on it until you can attract people who believe you and in that idea. And when they look at you, they see that idea and they follow you because of the idea you shine the spotlight on. So personal brand is not self-promotion, it's idea promotion. It's about looking for that idea that you are willing to reduce yourself to, so that you can attract people who would love to be part of that worldview, that part of philosophy, that part of the way you see the world, and you build a following upon that idea, not upon yourself. So this is a sneak into what I've learned, and I hope you enjoyed them. I'll be sharing them with you as much as I can. Hope you got enough value. Like, subscribe, comment. Cheers. Let's go.